20 years ago, when BYD first began attracting global attention, many were impressed. The company had become the pride of China's electric vehicle (EV) revolution, growing into the world's biggest EV maker and challenging Tesla in ways few thought possible.
Chinese automaker BYD has unveiled a groundbreaking 5-minute charging technology, and its impact is shaking the global automotive market. BYD's Hong Kong-listed shares jumped more than 6% soon after the announcement.
Their slogan about building a cleaner, greener future sounded inspiring. For people who genuinely believe technology can help solve the climate crisis, BYD seemed like proof that the world was moving in the right direction.
We're at one of BYD's more than 5,000 mainland Chinese stores. The company is the market leader when it comes to EVs in China. It's known mainly for its low and mid-priced cars, like this one is about $10,000. But now the Tesla rival wants to press home its advantage with new advanced technologies.
Like this super-fast megawatt charger.
But recently, reports have surfaced that completely changed how the company is seen. These reports didn't just dent BYD's reputation. They exposed practices that shocked many who once admired the brand. The truth is ugly. Behind the polished ads and eco-friendly branding, there are allegations of abusive labor practices in Brazil that trapped hundreds of workers in what officials described as slavery-like conditions. At the same time, Chinese regulators accused BYD of fraudulently claiming millions in EV subsidies, money that was meant to support genuine, clean innovation. If you've ever felt hope about the future of electric cars, what you're about to hear will make you question that hope. When we think of slavery, many imagine it as a stain of the past, something confined to history books. But the horrifying truth is that it still exists in many forms today, sometimes hidden under the cover of big corporations chasing profit. That's exactly what Brazilian authorities say they found at BYD's operations in Brazil. According to government reports and media investigations, Brazil's labor prosecutor's office in Bahia state carried out an official investigation and confirmed that 163 Chinese workers were found in conditions deemed slavery-like. The abuses included forced labor, confiscation of passports, extremely long working hours, and overcrowded, unsanitary housing. In total, authorities noted that more than 200 workers were subjected to these degrading conditions. These findings were not exaggerations. The testimonies from workers themselves paint a harsh and disturbing picture of exploitation. Long hours, unbearable fatigue. Some workers were forced to work far beyond legal limits, with little rest. Inhumane housing. Dozens were crammed into small, unsanitary spaces that lacked basic living conditions. Broken promises. Many were recruited with the assurance of good pay, food, and opportunities, only to discover they had been misled. Freedom restricted. Some reported they couldn't leave freely, either because of debts imposed on them or contracts that trapped them. This raises a disturbing question. How can a company that claims to be leading the world into a brighter, cleaner future treat human beings this way? What's the point of building zero-emission cars if the process of making them leaves behind broken lives? Just as the scandal in Brazil was unfolding, another case emerged, this time in BYD's own backyard. Chinese regulators revealed that BYD had fraudulently claimed millions in EV subsidies. Now you might wonder, why is that such a big deal? After all, governments hand out money to companies all the time. But this isn't just about money. These subsidies were created for one reason: to encourage companies to innovate genuinely and speed up the adoption of electric vehicles. The funds were supposed to go into research, development, and scaling production in ways that help the environment and society. Instead, BYD allegedly faked production numbers to exaggerate how many qualifying vehicles they sold, exploited loopholes in the system to cash in on subsidies they didn't truly earn, pocketed funds that should have been reinvested into technology for sustainability. This is more than fraud, it's betrayal. Taxpayers funded those subsidies. Everyday people, many of whom sacrificed convenience and comfort in the hope of building a greener world, were essentially lied to. So why would BYD take such risks? Why exploit workers in Brazil or cheat subsidies in China? To understand that, we need to zoom out. The global EV market is like a battlefield right now. Tesla, BYD, and dozens of startups are competing fiercely. Price cuts, rapid product launches, and massive production targets have become the norm. BYD in particular has been slashing prices aggressively, selling cars so cheaply that many analysts have questioned how they make a profit. And here's the uncomfortable truth. When margins are razor thin, some companies cut corners. Others cross lines they shouldn't. For BYD, it seems the desperation to dominate the EV race might have pushed them into practices that go against the very values they claim to uphold. But again, we have to ask, what kind of future is being built if it's powered by shortcuts, exploitation, and fraud? Are we really creating a sustainable industry, or are we just putting a new coat of green paint on the same old cycle of greed? News like this doesn't stay quiet, and the fallout has been massive. Consumers are shaken. People who bought BYD cars with pride, believing they were supporting clean energy, now feel betrayed. Investors are nervous. BYD's stock, once seen as a safe bet in the green transition, is facing volatility. Governments are worried. If BYD can cheat subsidies, regulators may rethink how they support EV makers, making the industry tougher for everyone. The irony is painful. BYD worked for years to build itself as the face of trust in Chinese EVs. Yet today, that trust is hanging by a thread. From this perspective, it's not just BYD's crisis, it's a crisis for the entire EV movement. Because scandals like this don't just hurt one company, they give ammunition to critics who say the green revolution is a sham. This scandal forces us to face some uncomfortable questions. Are EVs truly clean if the labor behind them is tainted with exploitation? Can companies be trusted to deliver a sustainable future if they cut corners whenever profits are threatened? Should governments continue pouring billions into subsidies if corporations can manipulate them so easily? Sustainability is not just about carbon emissions, it's about how we treat people, how honest we are about progress, and whether the systems we build uplift humanity instead of exploiting it. BYD's scandal is a warning. It tells us that corporations cannot be blindly trusted just because they sell something green. What is needed is transparency, accountability, and ethics at the heart of the EV revolution. Otherwise, the dream of a better future risks collapsing under the weight of hypocrisy. The scandals surrounding BYD confirm what many feared, that behind the promise of green technology, there can be exploitation and deception. It's a reminder that progress cannot be measured only in terms of how many EVs hit the road. The real question is, at what cost? Because a car cannot be called clean if the hands that built it were treated as disposable. And a future cannot be called sustainable if it's built on lies. This is more than a story about one company. It's a wake-up call for the entire industry and for all of us who care about the planet and the people living on it. If we truly want a greener tomorrow, we need to hold companies accountable today. Otherwise, we're not saving the world. We're just repeating history with shinier cars.